probably been told you need tens of thousands of dollars to change your financial life. But what if I told you the first $1,000 you save actually matters more than your first $10,000? In fact, a recent Federal Reserve study found that people with just a $1,000 emergency buffer are dramatically less likely to fall into debt, even compared to those earning more. If you're stuck in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, keep listening, because I'm about to bust the biggest myth in personal finance and show you the proven three-step system real people are using to go from broke to building real wealth. And in 2 minutes, I'll introduce you to someone who did exactly this, starting from zero. Let's get into it. Almost everyone I talk to feels like saving a single dollar just can't matter. Seriously, how many of us put a little aside, look at our account and think, this is pointless. $1 doesn't pay my rent. $5 barely covers coffee. It's no wonder we're bombarded everywhere with stories of huge windfalls or lottery winners, and that fantasy starts feeling like the only path to financial freedom. But if you believe you need a massive income, an inheritance, or to win big just to escape, worried you're falling for a myth that's keeping millions of people stuck. Let's break it down right now. Here's the truth. Wealth doesn't come from giant leaps. It's built from small, repeatable wins stacked over time. Sounds basic, but it's backed by hard data. And today, I'm Jim from Jim Invests. And on this channel, I go deep into what actually separates people who break out financially from those who stay trapped. If you've ever felt defeated by your current situation or wondered if you could get ahead without some miracle, you're in the right place. And real quick, before we jump in, drop a rocket emoji in the comments if you've ever felt like you're working non-stop just to keep up. I want you to see you're not alone. Let's get into the real mechanics. After years of research and hundreds of conversations, I've found nearly every success story starts the same way. Not with a giant breakthrough, but by taking a single, seemingly insignificant action. It could be setting aside $10 from your check, skipping one meal out, or finally starting a side gig and socking away the first $50. Alone, each move feels trivial, but stack them up? Habits form, and habits, science proves, are the engine of change. Here's the step-by-step framework that I want you to focus on today. I call it the three-step wealth shift, and it's the core of everything you'll see work in real life. First, build your base. Save your first $1,000 emergency buffer. Second, invest a small, repeatable amount each month, even if it's just $50. Third, automate everything so habits run themselves. We'll come back to these steps and repeat them throughout the video so you remember and actually use them. Let's start with step 1. Build your base. Save your first $1,000 emergency buffer. You've probably heard that most Americans can't cover even a $400 emergency. And according to the Federal Reserve, more than 40% would struggle with an unexpected $1,000 bill. Think about that. 2 weeks' expenses separate security from a financial cliff. Just $1,000 isn't going to make you rich, but research shows it creates a huge psychological shift. People with this tiny buffer are dramatically less likely to turn to high-interest debt, panic, or get stuck in the downward spiral of stress. Why? Because your brain operates differently when you're not in constant crisis mode. You switch from fear to possibility. That's why every success story starts with a little breathing room, not a windfall. Now, let's pause here and tackle a question I hear constantly. But Jim, I can barely put aside $10, let alone $1,000. How's that ever going to happen? I promise, it's more achievable than you think. Break $1,000 into concrete, manageable chunks. $20 per week is $1,040 per year. That's it. One dinner out, one ride share, one Impulse buy. $83 per month gets you there in a year. If $20 per week still feels out of reach, start even smaller. Save $5 every time you get paid. What matters most is the first visible win. When you save your first $50, your brain releases dopamine. That's a scientific fact. You feel like you've done something good, which motivates you to do it again. That's why in behavioral science, quick feedback is everything. Celebrate that first $50. Then, the first $100. It becomes proof that you can change. Now suddenly you're looking for other low-hanging fruit. Maybe meal prepping, switching a subscription, selling that old tech, collecting dust. Each micro win is a stepping stone. Real quick, what's the biggest thing blocking you from saving your first $1,000? Is it bills, habits, mindset? Share your answer in the comments. You'll help others see they're not alone, and you might get a solution from someone who's been there. Now, let's move to step 2. Invest a small, repeatable amount every month, even if it's just $50. Here's where I need to emphasize. You don't need to be a stock market genius or have thousands lying around. This just $50 a month. That's about $1.67 per day. According to historical data, if you put $50 into a broad market index fund every month and earn the market's historical 7% average annual return, here's what the math looks like. After 1 year, about $600, with $30 from growth. After 5 years, about $3,400. After 10 years, about $8,000. After 15 years, roughly $13,500. After 20 years, about $19,500. After 30 years, over $40,000. And by that last decade, compound interest is outpacing even your contributions. Keep in mind, these are average returns. Actual results depend on the market, and past performance doesn't guarantee future results. This is for education, not investment advice. But the pattern is always the same. Progress starts agonizingly slow, but after just a few years, your money begins to multiply itself. That's the magic of step 2. If you're thinking, I don't have $50 to spare, start with $10. Start with $5. What matters is establishing the pattern. You can scale up later as your confidence and means grow. Now, let's break down what that looks like visually. Imagine a chart on the screen. The blue bars are your savings each month. And suddenly, around year 10, the orange bars, your investment growth, start rising faster than your contributions. That's the moment when your money is working harder than you are. The earlier you start, the more dramatic the effect. And by automating your deposits, you never give yourself the chance to miss a month or second-guess yourself. Here's a perfect spot to share a real-life example. This is Sarah, name change for privacy, from our Gym Invests community. Sarah started saving $50 a month just 3 years ago. She was a barista, barely scraping by, paying off student loans. The first few months it was slow going. She put away $50 here, $30 there, sometimes only $20. But she tracked every single win. Skipped a concert, $40 went to savings. Meal prepped for a week, saved $15. Sold an old bike, $100 more into the account. Today, Sarah's at $4,250 saved and invested. Most of it simply by repeating these tiny actions. She didn't get a big raise. She didn't win the lottery. She just followed steps 1 and 2. One micro win at a time. How much did you save your very first month trying this approach? Drop the actual number in the comments, even if it's just $10. Your answer could motivate someone still stuck on 0. Now let's move to step 3. automate everything. This is where psychology meets real life. Willpower is unreliable. Even the best of us get tired, distracted, or tempted to skip. The easiest hack to build wealth is to make saving and investing automatic. That means set your paycheck to direct deposit a tiny percentage to your savings account, not just checking.
If your workplace offers, schedule a recurring transfer into a Roth IRA or brokerage account, ideally right after payday, so you never miss it.
Here's why. Automation removes the need to make daily or weekly decisions. That's scientifically proven to extend positive habits. You're tricking your brain by taking choice out of the process. You make the action stick. Plus, over time, you can increase the automatic amount when you get a raise, a side gig, or pay off a debt. These little increases add up fast. Another proven way to lock in wealth. You don't need fancy apps or complex tools to get started either. Most banks let you automate transfers in minutes. Your investment app probably lets you auto-draft as well. Set it up once. That's it. The hardest part is literally the first 10 minutes. Let's pause for a quick summary check-in. Remember, here's the framework again. First, save your first $1,000. That's your psychological cushion. Second, invest a small amount each month, even if it's only $5 or $50. Third, automate it all so you can't forget or sabotage your own progress. Take a screenshot or write this down. These 3 steps work for everyone, whether you're starting from broke or already have some savings. Let's address the next big problem. Most people quit before the magic happens. Why? Because small wins feel too slow. Let's be real. Saving your first $100 or $500 doesn't change your life overnight. Most people look at that small balance and feel discouraged. But this is where knowing the data actually changes your odds. Multiple studies show that any savings buffer, just $500 or $1,000, reduces financial anxiety, boosts future-oriented thinking, and helps create sustained discipline. That's not opinion, that's published research. You're rewiring your mindset and your brain's approach to money. Think about how the math actually works. You hit $1,000 saved. That means you're no longer terrified by a surprise medical bill or a flat tire. You're not reaching for high-interest credit cards. That small win lets you breathe and plan. So the next win gets easier, not harder. Each time you pass a new milestone, $500, $1,000, $2,000, it gets more and more natural to keep going. That's why so many people in our community go from nervous, hesitant savers to confident investors in just a year or two. From one snowballing habit. Let's bring in another real-world story. John followed this exact framework. Just $10 a week saved and invested, with automatic transfers set up. 5 years in, even through ups and downs, that's $2,600 contributed. At a 7% annual return, John's now at about $3,200, and growing faster every single month. For the first time, he isn't living in fear of a car repair or job loss. He's not a mathematician, not a high earner, just consistent. By the way, if you wish you had something to follow, I've created a one-page first $1,000 cheat sheet that lists the daily, weekly, and monthly actions you need to take with sample growth tables. If you want it, just comment "cheat" and I'll direct message the download link. Let's zoom out. What are the real benefits of this approach? First, your stress drops measurably. Studies from the American Psychological Association prove that people with even a tiny emergency fund have lower anxiety, better sleep, and fewer money fights with family or roommates. Second, your decision-making gets smarter. When you have at least a little money behind you, you make bolder choices. You can say no to bad jobs, invest in better opportunities, and negotiate harder. Third, your confidence and risk tolerance both grow. You walk into salary negotiations or new ventures with your head up, not out of desperation. That attracts more chances and more support from others. Fourth, you flip your perspective from pure survival to opportunity. Instead of scanning every cost for threats, you start looking for where your money can grow. That's the mindset that finds and acts on opportunities the old you would have missed. Fifth, and this is huge, you avoid the burnout crash. Too many people try to save aggressively for 2 weeks, fail, and then quit in disappointment. With small wins and automation, you never have to deprive yourself for months on end. It's sustainable. Let's recap the compounding side of this. Picture someone with $5,000 saved, earning a 7% annual return. That's $350 a year of passive growth. Maybe that's one extra week of work or money you never had to earn again. Let it grow to $20,000. Now you're making $1,400 per year passively. $50,000, $3,500, $100,000, $7,000 per year. Eventually, these returns start outpacing what you're putting in. Those are just mathematical illustrations based on average historical returns. Actual results will vary, and this isn't investment advice, but it shows the power of letting small, repeated actions stack up. I want you to carry this phrase with you. Small wins compound faster than big windfalls. It's not the lottery ticket. It's the $2 a day habit that actually breaks the cycle. You don't need to sacrifice everything or try to overhaul your financial life in a week. Just pick one tiny, manageable shift this month and give it a real shot for 30 days. So, to summarize the blueprint, first, save your first $1,000 emergency cushion. Second, invest any small amount consistently, $5 or $50 a month, preferably in something automated with historical long-term growth, like a diversified index fund. Third, automate those deposits so you're outsmarting your future self. Give each step time, and the results stack up. Screenshot these, write them down, or even share them with a friend who's stuck right now. If you're struggling to stick with it, what's tripped you up before? Share your story in the comments. Odds are someone here has faced the same hurdle and found a way past it. We're in this together. And if you want the exact PDF checklist I use with new savers, the first $1,000 wealth starter, daily, weekly, and monthly steps, plus growth charts, just comment cheat below and I'll send you the direct link. Quick recap. Here's your 3-step wealth shift. First, save up that first $1,000 emergency buffer. Second, invest a small, repeatable amount every month, just $5, $10, or $50, whatever's realistic for you. And third, automate the process so your discipline doesn't depend on willpower. Your immediate next step. Pick a single, almost undetectable small win. Cancel one unused subscription, save $10 this week, or set up an automatic transfer right now. In the next 30 days, track your progress and notice how the act of doing, even if the dollar amount is tiny, changes how you feel and what you believe you can achieve. By 90 days, aim to build your savings up by $250 or more. Track your streak. How many weeks or months can you keep the small actions going? By 6 months, start scaling. Raise your automatic deposit by $5 or $10 as your comfort grows. By 12 months, have your emergency fund topped up and regular investments humming in the background, without you even thinking about it. Use free automation tools from your bank or investment app. The point isn't perfection, it's persistence. Here's when you'll start seeing results. Within the first 60 days, you'll feel less stressed about surprise bills. By the end of the first year, you'll see real, tangible progress. hundreds, or even thousands saved, depending on your monthly contribution. In 3 to 5 years, you'll look back and be shocked by how far a few small, consistent moves have taken you. Ready for the next step? Subscribe to Jim Invests and turn on notifications, because in our next episode, I'll break down the exact index funds with 30 years of historical data, plus a full risk analysis so you can weigh your options. In the meantime, drop a comment with your #1 money question for this year. I answer the top ones in every new episode. Don't forget, if you want my first $1,000 cheat sheet, just comment "cheat" and I'll send it over. Share this video with someone who needs to see a win. And remember, all numbers and projections today are for education only, not financial advice. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Always consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment or personal finance decisions. You have everything you need to start right now, no matter where you're starting.